Father, today we pray for those whose health is compromised by the coronavirus or other health issues, that you will heal them. For those who suffer from economic impact of the virus in travel, manufacturing, hospitality, energy, or so many other industries, that you will comfort them. For healthcare workers and first responders and other public servants who put themselves in harm's way for us, that you will grant them peace as they trust you. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held July 23rd, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Report of executive sessions held.
There was one executive session held on Tuesday, July 28th at 1:30 p.m. for personnel reasons, and one on Thursday, July 30th at 9 a.m. for litigation and personnel reasons.
Department reports to budget transfers.
Move to approve. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 214689 through 214795 for expenditures through the general fund clearing account totaling $1,550,006.16.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report.
Move to approve. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to call on our treasurer, Ron Sheehan, for an additional report for us today.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm just going to read off the press release and then just add a couple of extra notes. But the Carbon County Treasurer's Office, which has been fully open to the general public since June 15th, will be reverting back to being by appointment only for services that cannot be completed via the internet or through the mail, effective next Monday, August 3rd. This means that applications for over-the-counter antlerless deer license sales must be sent through the mail using pink antlerless license mailing envelopes. Over-the-counter sales for wildlife management units 2B, 5C, and 5D that start on Monday, August 24th. Pink envelopes must be used and can be obtained at any local agent or the vestibule of the Carbon County Administration Building. Carbon County Treasurer noted that hunting and fishing licenses can be bought at the Game Commission and Fish and Boat Commission websites. Dog licenses can be bought online at carboncounty.com website, along with printable forms for lifetime dog licenses, small games at chance, bingo licenses that can be mailed in for processing. So we have been open to the general public for the last 7 weeks. That was mainly to accommodate general hunting licenses, senior lifetime license renewals, military licenses, and disabled veteran licenses. The bonus round for a second doe tag will start on Monday the 3rd. It looks pretty good that both of the wildlife management units that cover Carbon County, 4C south of the Turnpike and 3D north of the Turnpike, will be available for a bonus round. Also, the 2B, 5C, and 5Ds, unlimited through the mail, will start on August the 3rd. And on August the 24th, as I mentioned, normally they would be over-the-counter sales starting at that point. Because of the limited space for the common area in my office, we could not accommodate the number of people that come in for over-the-counter sales while still practicing social distancing. It would create an overflow in the second floor of the administration building, which would really compromise the safety of the general public and other offices of county government. So basically, what's going to happen on August 24th is just a continuation, which is what started on August the 3rd. You can still apply for your unlimited 5C, 2B, 5D licenses. It's just that you're going to have to do it through the mail as a safety. The first 2 weeks of our processing, which is over 5,000 doe tags, will be mailed out today. And the reason we do that is we hold the licenses till we're confident that the checks have cleared the banking system. Starting after this mailing, we will mail licenses for the previous week's processing every Friday of the following week. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Ron.
Yep.
Okay, move on.
Personnel report.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Courts for ratification. An agreement with Westlaw for 3 years, July 2020 through June 2023, for hardbound subscription books and updates for the law library, the 3 judges, 3 law clerks, and 2 for court administration. The monthly cost for the initial 12 months will be $4,117.21 per month. The second 12-month period is not to increase more than 5% over the first 12 months, and the third 12-month period is not to increase more than 5% over the second 12-month period. This is a decrease of $46.71 per month.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
District court offices for approval. Utilization of constables for coverage in all 4 district court offices through August 31st, 2020, at the rate of $13 per hour for the constable fee bill and request of the court.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Palmerton, Service Agreement ESCO, agreement with ESCO Incorporated of Euphrasia, Pennsylvania, for monitoring services for security cameras and panic buttons located at the District Court Palmerton office, effective June 1, 2020 through May 31st, 2021. Service calls will be charged at $206 per visit, and subsequent labor will be charged at $125 per hour. The total cost is $208 per year, which represents no increase in price.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Fiscal data for approval and execution. A request was received from the Fiscal Data Processing Director for a request for service authorization for Tyler Technologies Incorporated to modify the existing payroll direct deposit forms to show hourly rate shift at the cost of $700.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Drug and alcohol for approval and execution. A 5-year grant agreement between the Carbon-Monroe Pike County Commission and the Pennsylvania Department of Drug and Alcohol Program, covering the term of July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2025, listing the grant allocations as listed.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Planning and Development for approval and execution, change order number 1 to the contract with Stony Lonesome Excavating of Summit Hill, Pennsylvania for the Parks and Recreational Facilities Ginter Field Rehabilitation Project and Building, Summit Hill Borough, fiscal year 2016 and 2017, adding park benches, picnic tables, trash cans, geomatting, and protective service hardwood mulch. Due to the changes to the contract, the cost increased $24,800 for a new contract total price of $114,193.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitors report.
Thank you. Community Traffic Safety Project for approval and execution, a resolution authorizing the chairman to execute the grant agreement with Pennsylvania Department of Transportation District 50 to provide the highway safety network access to the DOT programs for the Community Safety Project. The new grant application, October 1, 2020 through September 30, 2022. Year one, $254,342.77. Year two, $259,429.63.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Next, LP Gas and Propane for approval and execution, an addendum to the agreement dated February 21, 2018 with Button Oil and Propane of Mountain Top to add the Carbon County Maintenance Storage Facility to the current list of locations using an on-call fill schedule.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Parks and Recreation for approval and execution. Special Activities Agreement for use of Mock Chunk Lake Park was submitted for the Lenape Nation Native American Festival Mock Chunk Powwow, September 12th and 13th, 2020.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Rental fee appraisals for approval and execution. A proposal was received from the Person Agency of the Hutton for rental fee appraisals for the properties 1202 Center Street in Jim Thorpe, the Mock Chunk Trust Company Plaza for $650, and 410 Center Avenue in Jim Thorpe, the School District Administration Building for $700.
So moved on discussion.
I would go ahead and also on that, Rocky, that would be 1202 North Street. There is a correction to that.
Okay. I just need some answers question, like we're moving into this, heading towards an agreement with both of them. And we did get a proposal back from one, but we did not get it back from the other. Are we like getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit? I know we have to have something done here, but we still have not received a price on anything. What the rental is gonna be from the Jim Thorpe School District. I mean, and then like I said, this has to be done, but are we moving ahead a little bit that we're getting an appraisal and we're supposed to negotiate with these people and all of a sudden it's gonna come back that there's an X amount of dollars that can go up to, and then they're gonna start off at that, and we're just gonna go back and forth and negotiate. And we are currently in a situation right like that now, that we're pretty much settled on it. And I think it would be fair to go off of once we have the other one settled. And I understand this has to be done, if we move forward in that direction, but could this actually be tabled for a week until, I mean, our last meeting with them, in fact, I think they actually told me that they were gonna have our numbers for this week, and I have not received anything. And this has been going on for weeks. I mean, and again, I'm a numbers guy. I need this number, I think, before we move forward on this.
Well, what the superintendent stated is they would, in their rent agreement to us, would utilize fair market value based upon the appraisal, would be the rental price. So therefore, without the fair market value being properly assessed, which is a legal requirement for us to do, we're not gonna see any actual lease agreement in draft form come to us.
But if they're coming to us and giving us a lease agreement, isn't that their obligation to get this done? I mean, if you rent a house and somebody wants $750 for it, I don't think you go out and say, okay, I'll give you $1,000 because that's what I'm coming out with. I mean, but like I said, we've been waiting for 4 weeks for numbers. And now this is like the first, now we have to have this done.
Well,
I mean,
solicitor,
and
do
if
you wanna
it
comment?
has to be done, but I don't think we need it to be out and then they know what is it gonna be our transparency on this now. If we get the proposal, are we gonna advertise it that it's $15 a square foot? I don't know.
think Commissioner Arner's point is, well, yeah, we have to get this before we can agree to a number, but if we get the number and put it out there, does that become the number?
Right, and that's what I,
Or are we
and that's what I,
negotiating against ourselves, or do we want the lessor to say, here's what we're proposing for the rent, you know, negotiate that subject to receiving the fair market value confirmation,
right.
if that's a fair
Well, and that's sort of
characterization.
how it is, because like I said, in our last situation, we were going back and forth for months. And that's what it was, we were going off of that fair market value, and it was sort of done in reverse. I'm thinking like they should give us an amount, and then if we don't agree with it, we go back to them, and then we have a fair market value and negotiate like that. I think we're putting it right out there, that that's what it is, and that's what we're gonna give you. And how's that fair to the other ones that we rent from? You know, we can't give somebody else more money than what we just got done negotiating the other ones for.
Well, if I understand, fair market value is fair market value for either side.
Right.
Now,
But
we can
again, that's the
negotiate.
cap, that's the
Right,
max
cap.
we could.
Right,
Right.
you don't have, and that's where we're at
Right.
with the other one, we did not,
Yeah.
we're at the point that we're not gonna settle for that. But I still would like to see these numbers, and like I said, it's been going on for weeks, I have no numbers of what it's costing us to move to this location, you know, to have our wiring set up, I mean, if I had this, you know, our savings to move, it's supposed to be $400,000, and we're keeping getting deeper and deeper, and what happens if our savings are not that amount?
Well, I met for I briefed, I believe it was last week, I gave an estimate of $50,000 to $70,000 for this to take place. And on top, that was based on estimates that were put together. To better define those estimates, to get clearer numbers, spent 2 hours with Josh O'Brien moving company, to clarify specific numbers. So again, it's about bringing all the data together, the numbers together. But this is another step. You have to have people to go out and do the assessment. Mr. Persons will come in and do the assessment of fair market value. So we know with Mock Chunk Trust Company, their offer, Jim Thorpe Area School District, their offer. How much is it gonna cost to move? IT has already talked to those who will help with our fiber optics to get that into place. We already know that number, and that's where that initial $50,000 to $70,000 lease came from. Understand, our builder stated it will be $40,000 to $50,000 a month to continue in a sequential renovation project, which is gonna be at least 8 months. That's it, anywhere from $320,000 to $400,000 of taxpayer money that is on the line right here. So if it costs $300,000 to make this happen, a move, we're saving the taxpayer $100,000. But again, there's no thought that this is even gonna go past 75. But if it goes to 100, fine, as long as we go through a logical, rational process to identify the cost and the savings to the taxpayers.
Well, and again, I go back to where this all started off as, the engineer, architects told us that we were gonna save $400,000. Where's this $400,000? I mean, they just said, we're gonna save $400,000. Is that, instead of having 2 work trailers, we're gonna have 1? You know, are you gonna have 1 clerk of the works? What are we getting here? Where is their basis for us saving them $400,000? I don't see it. You know, I've worked on construction sites, and these, when you enter into contracts like this, next thing you wind up having, we have a work order that is not done correctly, and then we wind up paying $300,000 in the end anyway. You know, and I go back to it again. If anybody has ever researched me and what I've done, I've always wanted numbers, and I don't see any numbers from the beginning of them telling us we're saving $400,000 till today, till this motion. So that's my issue with it. I need numbers, and I'm not saying, I mean, we need this once we move forward, but I need also all them other numbers. I mean, I wouldn't mind saying, okay, I would approve this if I have all them numbers by next week. I have no problem with that.
What I would like to see, do you think it's possible we can get an estimate of what they would be asking per square foot till next week? Right now, you know, there's been some changes as far as square footage on, the rooms we were looking at with the school district. So if we can get, is it gonna be worth our while to go out and get this appraisal? Are they gonna be asking, a lot more than what we might be willing to pay, because we know what we pay in other lease agreements in other facilities. And I don't think it's fair to those facilities if we go above and beyond and we negotiating another agreement right now below far, market value, but there's other issues in that particular, area as well. But if we can get a, some kind of, answer from the school district and the bank on what they would be requesting and possibly proceed. The other question I have, can we make this, any agreement, lease agreement, would be contingent upon the bids? And if we have an, go out to bids on the project, I would like to see a bid price of what it would cost to do the project, all at one time, concurrent on both buildings. And one would be if we completed one building first as an option and then the other building. So that way we will see what that number is up front and have an idea what it might cost us, or what the cost savings would be.
Eventually, you're gonna have to rent rental space. Juvenile probation, regardless if you do current or sequential, juvenile probation is going to have to move out of that building, even if 44 is done first, because they don't have a place to go when you clear out. So the rental property, it's gonna take place for at least one of those areas. Jim Thorpe School District already told us in their meeting, they would accept fair market value. They didn't say anything about potentially going lower, and they may, their offer may come in lower. But they did state specifically, the superintendent with 2 school board members and a business manager present, that they would not ask for anything above what we determine is fair market value. There's a motion.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor. Should I pull the board? It's to approve it.
Well, you don't have a second.
And
That's
Chris
second,
seconded.
Chris, okay.
Okay. Mr. Arner,
At this time, no.
Mr. Lucas Evans.
Yes?
Mr. Notstein.
No, for 1 week, they went for 1 week, and in that time, I would like to see that spreadsheet with all, breakdown with all the costs, okay? Projected costs at this time, right? Okay?
Nothing further.
Well, do we need a motion to
Yeah.
table?
I
There
would
isn't.
make
No,
that
the
motion.
motion was
We-
denied.
Yeah.
The motion
Okay,
was-
but-
The vote, there was a vote to deny it.
Yeah,
Right?
Okay.
So there is, if you want to make, because,
I'll make a motion to table that,
Well-
till next week.
you're not tabling it.
Well,
You're-
Right, we're
just-
just,
I'll make.
We'll just put it
yeah.
on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yes,
Next
yes. That's
All right.
good.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
that's okay.
Okay.
Further business.
Under further business, where do I start here? Oh, on the CARES grant that the county is doing right now, we're extremely busy, I should say. Our committees are busy. Our advisor, Jeff Weiss, and Rhonda here in the office is extremely busy. She went to lunch yesterday and got 7 calls in the meantime with questions about the grants and concerns from various people about the ability to get the financial records by close of business Friday to get that to us. So we've had a little bit of discussion and whether we should or should not extend the deadline. We feel that and we had talked previously about a second round. We would, because we don't know what's gonna happen between now and the end of the year, which the grant can be used up till the end of the year. So right now, we're waiting to see what the total amount of funds that will be requested. Only possibly doing this in 2 rounds, doing round 1 and possibly half the amount or whatever we come up with, depending on this week's requests and the grant applications. We are extending the time period for those that have applied to complete or get the follow-up documentation. So it's, so we can continue to move forward and start reviewing the applications. Depending on the amounts, we're still not sure where the priorities are gonna be, or depending on the request and who we feel is most needy of the funds. So, if I conveyed that accurately at this time, and there will be, I don't know what deadline do we wanna set as far as the pending documentation, any grants that would be given out would be pending the completion of those grant applications and providing the proper documentation. If they don't provide that after they've been awarded a grant, let's say of $5,000, well, that will get thrown back into the pot. Okay?
So to reemphasize, and we had the discussion this morning, right? So while the application deadline is, midnight on Friday, we recognize that some entities are having some challenges getting their 990 ends, their determination letter, from the IRS that they're a nonprofit, or maybe their financials, for whatever reason. Therefore, we want them to apply before, midnight on Friday. But for those applications that are in, if they're missing documentation, they'll continue to move through the vetting process or the assessment process. And if a grant is recommended by the committees, it will be provisional based upon providing the required documentation as outlined in the specific instructions in the application. I think that's,
And if there's, I'm a little on this, if somebody does not have their documentation, and say they're waiting for their accountant, and their accountant does not have it, are we gonna accept them Monday, or are they gonna get thrown into the second round?
no, the application will go through this process.
They
Yeah.
will take that, and they'll be thrown into the mix, and they'll have, when you talk of provisional, are they gonna be thrown into the mix of the 100, or are they gonna be after them 100 are gone? Like if they come in Monday, say if somebody sends in Monday that doesn't have everything. Now, we don't know if they missed the deadline.
Well, their application has to be in by midnight, but we understand there are some applications that will come in incomplete, such as I was not able to get my CPA to provide me my financials
Right.
for whatever reason. Well, they'll continue to be assessed as meeting the requirements, but before any dispersing of a check will take place, they'll have to provide that document so it can be reviewed by, the block grant administration.
And I'm just looking at it, that they're aware of that they're not thinking, okay, we're not gonna be in this mix. And what happens to them? Rhonda has a stack of phone calls in there, is she even gonna get back to everybody?
That's the other issue, on getting back with answering all these questions, and that, as long as their application is
Right, in
is
the
what we're
system.
saying,
Yeah.
as long as that application is in, we'll accept the, completion of the documents at a
Okay.
later date,
Okay.
as soon as we can get to it.
Right.
She has enough difficult, there's so many, questions and emails, and she's having a problem answering yes, because people are calling, did you get my application?
Right,
And
yeah.
she's gotta reply to them, yeah, and, she doesn't always get them immediately, so it's, not only for the people applying, it's becoming an issue for ourselves, being able to keep up with the emails and the, phone calls that we're getting on, receiving the application, so this
And-
gives them that opportunity.
Yeah, I think for us, this is the positive side, that people are actually responding and applying. And the one thing we're trying to ensure is that taxpayer money that is coming back to us, that we're able to keep it here in Carbon County. And we're starting to see in the last, 72 hours, that the entities and organizations who may be eligible are actually applying. So that's the positive side of the influx we've been having here.
And I just don't want it to get when this started off with the county in the first place, what did we have, Wayne, 3 days to get everything together and sign the paperwork? And I don't wanna put any business or nonprofit in that same situation, that they have to rush through things, and they might miss things. You know what I mean? They could miss events that they forgot. And they could wind up being, there was someone that just found out about the grant last Thursday. And, I mean, everybody, some people said, well, you know, where were these people? Well, not everybody gets the newspaper, not everybody watches the news. And I think everybody has the right for this grant. And I don't think just because they didn't know about it, that they're rushed to have it through in 3 days. So, I mean, so what you're telling me, as long as they have their application in for nonprofits or whatever, we're gonna give a little leniency towards that.
Right, they'll be
Okay.
continued to be considered pending,
Okay.
pending their documentation that is required by DCED and federal guidelines, yep, before any dispersal. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, commissioners' reports,
Okay.
Mr. Arner?
The only thing that I really have, I mean, the grant was, we purchased foggers, I mean, everybody did a report on that yesterday, that we purchased 15 foggers, and that is actually through the grant, they were $700 a piece. It came to $10,500 with the mix with it, and they're gonna be distributed throughout the county, the courts, the prison, EMA, and areas like the sheriff's department or children and youth that disinfect the cars. And this is not something that is to eliminate our mitigation plan. If we have somebody in our county network here, and if something happens, we have a mitigation plan that will be used. And like I said, this is 100% reimbursed through our grant. And the only other thing I have to say, I'm glad to see the train back. I mean, it was looking like we were gonna be the county that you can come to not get a train ride. So I'm glad we're gonna be the county that you can come to get a train ride. And that's it.
Mr. Lukasevich?
All right, just one item from the Director of Elections, Lisa Dart. She just asked the residents, the registered voters who previously, so for the primary election, applied for a quote-unquote permanent annual mail-in ballot, please feel no need to reapply again for your mail-in ballot, because we're seeing a considerable amount of people who are reapplying for a mail-in ballot. And again, they have to process those redundant applications. So if you apply for a quote-unquote permanent annual mail-in ballot, you do not have to reapply. Simply call the election office and ask them, hey, did I originally apply for a permanent annual? And they'll confirm that and save you having to reapply and save them having to produce all the paperwork back to you. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Notstein?
Yes, I'd like to wish a happy 30th anniversary to the Americans with Disabilities Act. On July 26th, it was 30 years since the law was enacted, federal law. It's the passage of the American with Disabilities Act, a landmark civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities. The ADA states that all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, all public and private places are open to everyone. July also marks Disability Pride Month, which advocates for and celebrates the lives of people with disabilities and acts as a reminder to uphold the laws of the ADA. The 30th anniversary is also time to reiterate the Pennsylvania's responsibility to protect the rights and opportunities of people with disabilities. It was 1990, and it was signed by President George H.W. Bush at the time, grants civil rights protection to people with disability in government service, public accommodations, telecommunications, and provisions like transportation. So, program provides support to more than 56,000 individuals with intellectual disabilities and or autism. And the DHS office, Department of Human Services, Office of Long-Term Living supports more than 420,000 individuals with physical disabilities and other older people or adults who are duly eligible for Medicare and Medicaid in their community. So the statewide percentage of people with intellectual disability or autism are competitively employed reached 17% in 2019, which is up from 12% in 2017. So the Department of Health is committed to expanding these opportunities to individuals with disabilities in employment. So I will make that available to the media then after the meeting. Okay. That's all I have for today. Meeting adjourned. News media, before you even ask the question, I know Amy had some questions regarding the Family First Amendment and what that's about. You know, and they provide trauma, informed, evidence-based mental health services, substance abuse treatments, in-home parenting skills and training for people with, for families whose children are at risk, or foster parents for families that are pregnant or expecting children for trauma care. So that's what that 100,000 Family First issue is that we passed today in the meeting. Amy's other questions was the traffic,
Safety project?
safety project,
Traffic.
correct. Carbon County is the pass-through for 6 counties: Carmen, Monroe, Schuylkill, Berks, Lehigh, and Northampton County. And they provide education programs, school bus safety, aggressive driving, child passenger safety, seatbelts, DUIs, and pedestrian safety. They're active in Carbon County and as well as the 6 counties. Tracy Fox is our contact. She is involved in the Kids Zone, formerly the Child and Families, or the Safe Kids Coalition, in providing programs, car seat programs, safety, etc. They're active in providing educational programs in schools for aggressive driving and things of that nature. So they have a great involvement here in Carbon County as well as the other 5 counties that they service. And it's a federal pass-through program through the state to do the traffic safety and provide statistics on some of the things that they do in our area. Including they put out different statistics like vehicle deaths, homicides, safety, things of that nature through there. And you can go on the website and get more information there, as well as through the PennDOT Highway Safety Program website. What else was the,
Just
the
the
Drug and Alcohol Commission 5-year agreement for the 4 counties. What does that cover? Well, that covers all the services that they provide us, such as the forensic caseworker in the county, up at the prison, counseling for all our people in the drug and alcohol programs in the various counties. They were very active in the Veterans Court and specialty courts. They have representatives there in all those meetings. They do a lot of safety programs. They're involved in the safety walks and all other aspects of the drug and alcohol program and intervention programs, evidence-based programs, reporting and counseling for those that have issues with drug or alcohol. So, anyone else like to expand on any of those? I hope that answers Amy's question. Haley, if you have any further questions on any of them?
No.
No questions at all? Dominic?
Quick question on this lease agreement with the administration building. They're not moving to, is that a new location they're trying to move to, or is that the old junior high school?
It's the old
Okay.
junior high
Yeah.
school.
Just for the foggers, you said will not affect mitigation plan. Does that just mean that if someone does get sick, that the people around them won't?
No,
forward?
well, what we're doing, we're getting the foggers like when, say our cleaning staff goes through and cleans. They can hit areas, handrails, I mean, it's more or less like disinfecting above what we have been doing. And, I mean, you can't, put it this way, you can't do enough prevention for this because you don't know what it brings to you. Now, we could spray this and within an hour, somebody could touch it and, you know, and that's the way it is. There's no mix out there, no cleaning agent that you can put on that will kill the virus for a day. You know, but it's, I think we're being proactive in this that we are disinfecting, and like I said, the people can come here and they can feel that they're gonna be safe. You know, and I think it's, you make the statement like Irie soap, 99% of the time, 99.9, it'll be effective, but any situation, it doesn't matter if there's another virus or whatever's going on, but we're just trying to be proactive that when people come here, you know, they can feel safe, and it doesn't matter if it's in here, if they're incarcerated, or gotta be, you know, from the prison to here, or picked up in Allentown to have a jury trial here, you know, everybody can be safe, and I said, we can't be safe enough, and this is just one of the additive things that, and I don't know if a lot of counties are doing this. I mean, I think we're one of the very few that is being, you know, giving it out to all the departments. I mean, to sanitize the cars, the courtroom, even in here, you know, just general handrails.
When are those foggers gonna come in, cause I'd like to take pictures.
I have it, you missed the presentation yesterday, if you wanna see it, I'll
Wait,
disinfect
did
you.
Alyssa do that story yesterday?
What's-
With the courthouse, did she already do that?
Yes,
Well, then
yes,
good, I don't need it.
okay. Oh, so now you're throwing me to the side.
I would love, I don't even need that, that's just for personal enjoyment, that's not even for
We'll
work.
go on through your car.
Yeah, all right, gentlemen, that's it.
That's it. Jim, welcome back.
Howdy, bring me up to speed on the rental situation. Who's being displaced that you're gonna be putting in these two new facilities?
Well, elections, planning and development, workforce, which is overseen by the county, but is a separate issue. Juvenile probation, let's see, what else am I missing?
Yeah, those four.
Yeah.
Now, where are they located now?
Most of them are all in the 76 building,
Okay,
okay? They're all in the 76, most of them,
On
Yeah,
the
they all
first
are.
floor.
yeah, on the first floor there.
okay.
What we're looking at doing is renovating the other building, 44 Susquehanna, the old archives, yeah, what was it before that? The,
Maintenance garage,
pardon?
maintenance garage.
Maintenance for us, et cetera. That building's gonna be renovated. We're gonna be moving elections, planning and development, and workforce into that facility there.
So this is just temporary space then?
Yes.
This is temporary, possibly a year, give or take a couple months, depending on weather conditions and construction and that. Then we will be moving adult probation out of the courthouse. We're out of room. They're shoulder to shoulder in the courthouse already. We have at least one adult probation officer working out of the juvenile probation office because there's no room. They're doing some more work at home, et cetera, so we're out of space. So juvenile or adult probation will be the major, have most of the space in the first floor then eventually. And again, first floor, it's gonna be a two-story building at 44. First floor will be a conference room for a lot of our meetings. We don't have a place for meetings and a lot of the training, as well as elections on the first floor with the changing of all the laws, election laws and the equipment. A lot more space is needed. Just a refresher, or to inform you since you weren't here, when we had the primary election, we had like 5 extra people at one time in that office to help process all the mail-in ballots and everything. There was over 5,000 of those that they had to process and, double check everything. So we're really out of space in that particular office, especially for the equipment and for election night when the people come back. And it's not a matter of just a couple days anymore for additional help. These people started about 5 or 6 weeks in advance, where we had hired 2 part-time employees for 500 hours a year to help with the work. Well, we had put 3 additional people in that office from other offices, and they're over their time allotted. It's gonna be worse in fall, so we didn't have that in the election. That's an election board issue. We're gonna have to extend their hours. It was not to exceed 500 hours, or we're gonna have to increase that because of the amount of time that's gonna be required. It's one of those things, we don't know how many requests we're gonna get for absentee voting and no fault voting. So it really changed, especially with the virus and presidential year. It's gonna be extremely interesting.
So you have 44 and 76 outside of this building and the regular courthouse now. You'll have that when everything's renovated.
Right.
That'll be the Porter County facility.
Yeah, and then eventually there'll be some renovations, not near as much in office movement in the courthouse, then moving some offices around. So, and that will be working with the courts and the judges on that
The
issue.
election department is a far cry from the first door on the right. As soon as you walk in the courthourse, they have that one office
Yeah.
in the corner. Is that-
Well, they will be there for the general election in November. We are adamant, don't want to move in that particular time. We'll probably have planning out of there by that time if we move, if everything goes as planned. But the elections will be there, and then the primary in 2021, that's gonna be a different story.
Okay. Now, in reference to these two things you took with the magistrate's offices, what's the story behind those?
Additional security through constables we hired because of COVID. That's the one you're referring to, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that in all four magistrate offices, so we contract with outside help, sheriff's deputies. We just don't have enough to provide that service. It's only 1 or 2 days a week now when they have courts in those particular offices.
Is this gonna come out of the grant then too?
Yes.
Okay, and the Summit Hill Park, they're gonna put all this extra stuff in for 24,800. The Ginder,
I'm not sure of all the details, yeah.
okay. I think that's it for me.
Good then, okay, you know. Well, can't breathe, I kept fogging up today.
I'll call you over the weekend, Colin,
Yeah, do that.
like
Let me know.
1 in the morning. I have a question.
Jim, you just want a
I'm
copy
like,
of
hey,
this?
if it's 1 in the morning, I still might be drinking. So who knows?
You want a copy of that?